Have you ever felt like there's another version of you inside? A version the world has never seen? A version that doesn't care about fear, doesn't bow to threats, and doesn't get trapped by people's opinions? Right now, that version of you is buried. Buried under self-doubt, buried under guilt, buried under every lie people told you to make you obedient. They told you, be kind, be patient, just trust others. But ask yourself, was that advice really for your good? Or was it just a way to control you? Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. Society praises the tame and quietly destroys the dangerous. But deep inside you lives a sharper, colder self. A self they can't break. A self they can't control. A self they can't stop. And when you wake up that side of yourself, everything changes. You stop chasing people's approval. You stop explaining your every move. You stop playing fair in a world that never played fair with you. Have you ever felt like you gave others fairness while they gave you nothing but tricks? Share it in the comments. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about becoming untouchable. The moment you step into this hidden version of yourself, you stop being prey. You stop being used. You stop being weak. And you become someone no one dares to touch. So if you're ready to meet that version of yourself, stay with me. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never forget what you're truly capable of. Music fades in, but here's the hard truth. There's a side of you that doesn't belong in this world anymore. The soft side. The side that apologizes when you've done nothing wrong. The side that bends just to keep others comfortable. The side that fears being disliked more than it fears being controlled. Machiavelli would say that version of you must die, because the world doesn't reward kindness without power. It feeds on it. People don't really admire your selflessness, they exploit it. They don't respect your patience, they drain it. Every time you give without thinking, every time you forgive without consequence, you send a signal. And predators always hear it. Be honest. Have you ever felt like your kindness was used against you? Drop a yes if that hit you. That's why the first step to becoming untouchable isn't about adding more strength. It's about erasing weakness. Stop explaining yourself. No one deserves that window into your soul. Stop begging for approval. Their praise is nothing but a leash. Stop blindly believing promises, because people lie when it benefits them. Power comes from expecting that. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be unmovable. And this change is not soft. It feels like war because it is. You're fighting the side of yourself that was trained to obey. Society taught you to be good. But in their language, good means harmless. And nothing is more dangerous for you than being harmless. Machiavelli warned rulers never to depend on the loyalty of others. And you must apply the same rule to yourself. Never depend on the blind loyalty of your own emotions, because the same heart that tells you to trust will also lead you into traps. The same compassion that makes you generous will also make you easy to manipulate. You don't need to kill these emotions completely, but you must burn away just enough that no one can weaponize them against you. And here's the dark truth. When you stop being easy to hurt, people will call you cold. When you stop being controlled, they'll call you arrogant. When you stop playing by their rules, they'll call you evil. Let them. Those labels are nothing but tools of the weak meant to shame the strong back into submission. Kill the weak version of yourself, or it will kill you slowly by handing your life to anyone bold enough to take it. The stronger version of you must be a fortress. No one walks in without your permission. No one sees what you feel unless you choose to show it. You are calm when they expect anger, silent when they demand an explanation, ruthless when they thought you'd forgive. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become free. But removing weakness isn't enough. You must build something stronger in its place, not a wall of pride or anger, but a fortress made of discipline and calculation. Machiavelli said rulers should never depend only on physical walls. The real fortress is the mind. Step 1. Stop reacting. Start calculating. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They get provoked and they explode. They get insulted and they defend. They get tempted and they obey. This is weakness disguised as humanity. The fortress mind doesn't react, it measures. When someone attacks you, study them. Ask yourself, what do they want? Why now? What are they afraid of if I don't respond? Every insult, every threat, every attempt to provoke you is information. Use it. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you bleed. Step 2. Eliminate the need to be understood. Wanting to be understood is a hidden chain. You explain yourself, hoping for approval. You reveal your thoughts, hoping for connection. But the more you expose, the easier it is for others to control you. The fortress mind stays silent. It does not broadcast fears, plans, or intentions. Let people stay confused. When they can't predict you, they can't trap you. Step 3. Train for discomfort. Weak people break because they built their lives around comfort. The moment pain arrives, they panic. You must do the opposite. Seek discomfort on purpose. Fast when you can eat. Work when you'd rather rest. Say no when your emotions beg you to say yes. The more pain you master by choice, the less power pain has over you when it comes without warning. Machiavelli said, "A prince who depends on fortune is doomed. A prince who disciplines himself controls fortune itself." In simple words, train now, so the world can't surprise you later. Step 4. Redefine betrayal. The fortress mind expects betrayal. It doesn't fall apart when allies turn against you, when friends show themselves as enemies, or when family lets you down. Most people believe loyalty is permanent. It isn't. People are loyal only until loyalty stops serving them. Have you ever been shocked when someone close betrayed you? Write yes in the comments if you know that pain. When betrayal comes, don't be surprised. Expect it, and prepare yourself so you lose nothing when it happens. Step 5. Weaponize patience. The strongest person isn't the one who strikes first. It's the one who waits until the strike matters most. The fortress mind is not impulsive. It is strategic. It can endure disrespect without responding immediately, because revenge served cold always leaves the deepest mark. When you wait, you make your enemy comfortable. And when they're comfortable, they make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, you own them. When you build this fortress inside your mind, the world starts treating you differently. People can sense when you're no longer desperate for approval. They can feel when you're immune to manipulation, and this terrifies them. They'll test you. They'll provoke you. They'll try to drag you back into old habits. But you give them nothing. No anger, no explanation, no reaction. That is real power. Not the kind you brag about, but the kind people recognize instinctively. You become the one person no one dares to push because nothing they try works. And here's the most important part. The fortress mind doesn't isolate you. It frees you. You can live among people without fear because no one has access to your core. They can attack your name, your money, your reputation, but they cannot touch you. The fortress mind protects you from being controlled. But protection alone isn't enough. Machiavelli knew that power has to be projected outward. If you only defend yourself, people will keep testing your walls. But if you project fear, they stop attacking altogether. So how do you deal with manipulators and enemies? Rule 1. Never fight battles they choose. Manipulators will bait you with insults, rumors, and emotional traps. If you react in public, you fight on their battlefield. Even if you win, you look desperate. The Machiavellian way? Stay silent. Let them think you're passive. Then strike when the time suits you. Quietly destroy their credibility. Cut off their resources. Make their allies doubt them until they stand alone. When you move, it won't feel like a fight. It'll feel like fate itself closing in. Rule 2. Become unreadable. Manipulators survive on information. They watch your face, your tone, your habits. The more you reveal, the easier it is for them to pull your strings. So give them nothing. Don't explain why you made a choice. Don't reveal who you trust. Don't show what makes you angry. When you are unreadable, every move looks calculated, even when it's not. And that paranoia eats your enemies alive. They make mistakes. They imagine dangers that aren't even real. And that's the power of fear. It's sharpest when people are uncertain. Third rule, reward loyalty coldly. Punish betrayal colder. Power isn't about being liked. It's about making sure people know betrayal has a cost. But never do this with open threats. Open threats only invite rebellion. The Machiavellian way is quiet punishment. If someone betrays you, erase them. No warning, no second chance, no conversation. Just gone. Not with drama, but with finality. For the ones who stay loyal, don't smother them with thanks. Show calm recognition, but keep them guessing if your favor will last. People value rewards more when they're unsure if they'll keep them. Have you ever been betrayed by someone close? Comment yes if you know that feeling. Fourth rule, divide and control. Enemies will try to unite against you. Stop that before it happens. Machiavelli advised rulers to pit factions against each other, and you must do the same socially. Plant small seeds of doubt between potential threats. If two people could combine to challenge you, make sure they distrust each other before they ever join forces. A divided enemy is harmless. Fifth rule, let your strength be rumored, not displayed. Modern fools brag about every win, flaunt their power, post their success. This only creates targets. Machiavelli knew real power works differently. It's strongest when it's felt, not shouted. Move quietly. When you win, let others whisper. Rumor makes you seem larger than life. People fear shadows more than swords. When you project cold strength, manipulators avoid you. Enemies hesitate, unsure how you'll respond. You're no longer just defending yourself. You've made the ground around you so dangerous that no one dares approach. This isn't cruelty. It's strategy. By making yourself untouchable, you save energy. You don't need to fight every petty challenge. The world simply learns. This is not someone to test. But remember, the strength inside you is useless unless people can feel it. A fortress mind is like a weapon. It only protects you if others know it exists. That's why Machiavelli warned rulers. Survival isn't just about power, it's about reputation. If people believe you're dangerous, they won't even think of crossing you. Your job is to build an aura, a presence that radiates calm, steady power. The kind of presence that makes people pause before they ever try to test you. Here's how. 1. Speak less, mean more. Talk too much, and you expose your fears and your limits. Speak less, and each word carries weight. When you finally do speak, do it slowly, without emotion. Never rush to defend yourself. Never over-explain. People will hang on your words and fear what you don't say. Do you think silence can sometimes say more than words? Comment yes if you've seen it. 2. Never show desperation. Desperation is blood in the water. The moment people sense you need approval, money, allies, or love, you hand them power. Act as though nothing is urgent, nothing is vital, even when everything's on fire behind your walls. Machiavelli wrote, "The fear of losing power makes rulers weak." For you, it's the same. The less you appear to need, the stronger you seem. 3. Let mystery do the work. An aura isn't built by shouting about your strength. It's built by leaving others guessing. Be visible enough to be noticed, invisible enough they can't figure you out. Show flashes of strength, but never your full hand. If they know your limits, they prepare. If they suspect you have no limits, they freeze. 4. Use small acts of ruthlessness. Reputation is built on stories. Machiavelli advised princes to make examples, punish enough to maintain order, but not enough to provoke revolt. Do the same. If someone crosses you in public, don't rage, don't debate. Just cut them off, socially, financially, professionally, in a way everyone sees. One calm, decisive act echoes louder than endless speeches about power. 5. Control your image like it's life itself. Your fortress mind guards against inner weakness, but your aura is what the world sees. Dress with intent. Move with precision. Hold steady eye contact as though you fear nothing. Walk into every room as if you already own it, even if you don't. People are primitive. They read body language before they hear words. Machiavelli warned, it is safer to be feared than loved. The same applies to you. To be loved is to serve expectations. To be feared is to be free. Tell me in the comments, would you rather be respected or liked? When you project the right mix of fear and authority, you won't need to fight as often. People handle you carefully, like a blade they don't dare test. All eyes respect you more. Enemies hesitate. This isn't arrogance, it's survival. The moment you stop signaling weakness, the scavengers vanish. The moment you stop signaling need, manipulators disappear. And the moment you carry yourself like a ruler, people instinctively treat you like one. When your aura is solid, you don't just defend yourself, you dominate every space you enter. The whispers begin. And once people whisper about your power, you've already one dot in its place. Now stands someone different, someone sharp, precise, and deliberate. Every move you make is chosen with care. Every word is selected like a blade cutting when it needs to, silent when it doesn't. You give rewards for loyalty, but you never depend on it. You disappear when it benefits you, and you strike only when you decide the time is right not. And here's the truth. You've learned that fear doesn't come from cruelty. Respect doesn't come from shouting. Real power isn't about forcing others to bow. It's about mastering yourself so fully that nobody can ever pull your strings again. This is what it means to be untouchable. You've stripped away every handle people once used to move you. Manipulation can't reach you anymore because you've closed those doors. You no longer leak energy into people who drain you. You've stopped letting emotions control you. Now they serve your mission instead. Of course, there's a cost. And you already know it. People will whisper. They'll call you cold. They'll say you're distant, arrogant, maybe even evil. But remember this, those words are just the cries of the powerless, the ones who feel smaller because they can't control you anymore. Their labels are their last weapon. Let them throw it. It doesn't touch you because you don't owe them warmth. You don't owe them obedience. You don't owe them an explanation. The only debt you carry is to yourself, the life you came here to live. And that life demands strength. Here's what most forget. Power isn't a moment, it's a posture. You don't switch it on when it's convenient. You don't get to take a break from being disciplined. The second you relax, the second you let softness slide back in, the world will see it. And it will test you. That's why this isn't just a lesson to watch once. It's not a motivational video to feel good for 5 minutes and forget. It has to be your way of moving every single day. Quiet, focused, strategic, relentless, until it's no longer effort, until it simply becomes who you are. Let me ask you this, have you ever promised yourself you'd change, only to slip back into the old habits? Be honest. Drop a comment if you know that cycle all too well. Asterisk, asterisk. In its place now stands someone different, someone sharp, precise, and deliberate. Every move you make is chosen with care. Every word is selected like a blade cutting when it needs to, silent when it doesn't. You give rewards for loyalty, but you never depend on it. You disappear when it benefits you, and you strike only when you decide the time is right not. And here's the truth. You've learned that fear doesn't come from cruelty. Respect doesn't come from shouting. Real power isn't about forcing others to bow. It's about mastering yourself so completely that nobody can ever pull your strings again. This is what it means to be untouchable. You've stripped away every handle people once used to move you. Manipulation can't reach you anymore because you've closed those doors. You no longer leak energy into people who drain you. You've stopped letting emotions control you. Now they serve your mission instead. Of course, there's a cost. And you already know it. People will whisper. They'll call you cold. They'll say you're distant, arrogant, maybe even evil. But remember this, those words are just the cries of the powerless, the ones who feel smaller because they can't control you anymore. Their labels are their last weapon. Let them throw it. It doesn't touch you because you don't owe them warmth. You don't owe them obedience. You don't owe them an explanation. The only debt you carry is to yourself, the life you came here to live. And that life demands strength. Here's what most forget. Power isn't a moment, it's a posture. You don't switch it on when it's convenient. You don't get to take a break from being disciplined. The second you relax, the second you let softness slide back in, the world will see it. And it will test you. That's why this isn't just a lesson to watch once. It's not a motivational video to feel good for 5 minutes and forget. It has to be your way of moving every single day. Quiet, focused, strategic, relentless. Until it's no longer effort, until it simply becomes who you are. Let me ask you this. Have you ever promised yourself you'd change, only to slip back into the old habits? Be honest. Drop a comment if you know that cycle all too well, because this is the battlefield, not outside, but inside. The hardest enemy you'll ever face is not the critic in the crowd, not the rival at work, not the manipulator circling you. The hardest enemy is your old self, the version of you that craves comfort, that avoids pain, that begs to be liked, that fears being alone. That part of you doesn't die easily. It claws, it whispers, it bargains. Every time you try to rise, it pulls you back with guilt, with laziness, with fear of rejection. But now you have weapons. A fortress mind that doesn't in its place now stands someone different, someone sharp, precise, and deliberate. Every move you make is chosen with care. Every word is selected like a blade cutting when it needs to, silent when it doesn't. You give rewards for loyalty, but you never depend on it. You disappear when it benefits you, and you strike only when you decide the time is right not. And here's the truth. You've learned that fear doesn't come from cruelty. Respect doesn't come from shouting. Real power isn't about forcing others to bow. It's about mastering yourself so completely that nobody can ever pull your strings again. This is what it means to be untouchable. You've stripped away every handle people once used to move you. Manipulation can't reach you anymore because you've closed those doors. You no longer leak energy into people who drain you. You've stopped letting emotions control you. Now they serve your mission instead. Of course, there's a cost. And you already know it. People will whisper. They'll call you cold. They'll say you're distant, arrogant, maybe even evil. But remember this, those words are just the cries of the powerless, the ones who feel smaller because they can't control you anymore. Their labels are their last weapon. Let them throw it. It doesn't touch you because you don't owe them warmth. You don't owe them obedience. You don't owe them an explanation. The only debt you carry is to yourself, the life you came here to live. And that life demands strength. Here's what most forget. Power isn't a moment, it's a posture. You don't switch it on when it's convenient. You don't get to take a break from being disciplined. The second you relax, the second you let softness slide back in, the world will see it. And it will test you. That's why this isn't just a lesson to watch once. It's not a motivational video to feel good for 5 minutes and forget. It has to be your way of moving, every single day. Quiet, focused, strategic, relentless. Until it's no longer effort, until it simply becomes who you are. Let me ask you this. Have you ever promised yourself you'd change, only to slip back into the old habits? Be honest. Drop a comment if you know that cycle all too well, because this is the battlefield, not outside, but inside. The hardest enemy you'll ever face is not the critic in the crowd, not the rival at work, not the manipulator circling you. The hardest enemy is your old self, the version of you that craves comfort, that avoids pain, that begs to be liked, that fears being alone. That part of you doesn't die easily. It claws, it whispers, it bargains. Every time you try to rise, it pulls you back with guilt, with laziness, with fear of rejection. But now you have weapons. A fortress mind that doesn't break under pressure. A code that doesn't bend for convenience. A presence that speaks louder than words. And most of all, you have proof. Proof that you can change. Proof that you can shed the old skin and walk into a new life, even when the world wanted you trapped in the old one. Have you ever felt that pull, the old version of you trying to drag you back down? Right, I know that voice in the comments if you've heard it. Here's the secret. Power isn't about killing that old voice. It's about silencing it long enough to move forward anyway. Discipline is not about never feeling weak. It's about acting strong, even when weakness is clawing at you. You've already done it before. Every time you kept going when you wanted to quit, you proved it. Every time you said no when you could have said yes just to please someone, you proved it. Every time you walked away from something toxic instead of clinging to it, you proved it. That's what this whole journey has been about. Not pretending to be powerful, not performing strength, but becoming it. Understand this: true power doesn't scream. It doesn't parade. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It simply is. People feel it in the room before you even speak. They sense it in the calmness of your voice, the weight of your silence, the steadiness of your eyes. That's why the untouchable man is so dangerous, because he doesn't need power to prove he has it. And here's the twist. This life you've built, this discipline you've carved out, it won't just change how others treat you. It will change how you see yourself. For the first time, you'll look in the mirror and recognize someone you respect. Not because you're perfect, not because you're invincible, but because you chose to become someone who can't be broken by cheap tricks, cheap words, or cheap people. And yes, it's lonely at times. Discipline is lonely. Strength is lonely. Cold power can feel like exile. But understand this: exile is better than slavery. Walking alone in power is better than walking with a crowd in weakness. Tell me, would you rather be alone and respected, or surrounded and controlled? Leave your answer below. This is where most fail. They build themselves up for a season, but then they soften. They let love blind them. They let comfort dull them. They let praise trap them. They start to believe they've earned the right to relax. And that's when they fall. Not you. Not anymore. Because you've learned that power is not about the crowd. Power is not about applause. Power is about posture, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. And when you live this way long enough, something extraordinary happens. Strength stops feeling heavy. Discipline stops feeling like work. Power stops feeling like an act. It simply becomes who you are. The untouchable version of you is not a mask. It's not armor you put on when the world gets rough. It's your new skin. And once you live in it, the old skin never fits again. This is why you can't treat this as a phase. This has to be your way of life. Every day, you're either sharpening the blade or letting it rust. Every choice is either building your fortress or cracking its walls. Every word, every action, every silence either adds to your aura or weakens it. That's the burden of power, but it's also the gift. Because when you carry it, no one can take it from you. And in time, you'll notice something. The people who once tried to control you stop trying. The people who once tested you stop testing. The people who once disrespected you begin to adjust themselves around you. They feel the shift, even if they can't explain it. The world whispers about you, not because you begged for attention, but because you became the kind of presence that cannot be ignored. That is victory, not the loud, temporary victory of applause, not the fragile victory of being liked, but the permanent victory of becoming someone who cannot be broken. If you've felt this shift, if you've noticed people treating you differently as you've grown stronger, comment, "I see it happening below." And if you haven't yet, keep going. Keep sharpening. Keep building. The world may not notice immediately, but it always notices eventually. Remember, power is not an accessory. It's not a performance. It's not something you switch on and off. True power is what remains when the applause stops, when the crowd leaves, when no one is watching. And if you carry it long enough, you'll stop needing the world to validate it. Because you'll know. You'll feel it. You'll live it. This is the end of the lesson, but it's only the beginning of your life with it. Because now the choice is yours. Go back to the old skin or keep building this new one until it's unshakable. If you're ready for more, if you're ready to keep sharpening your edge and outpacing everyone who underestimates you, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because each video is not content. It's another weapon. Another layer to your fortress. Another reminder that comfort is the enemy and cold discipline is the only way forward. You've come this far. Don't stop now, because the world doesn't need another person desperate to be liked. The world needs more untouchable ones. And you're already on your way. Asterisk, if this message hit you, don't just nod and move on. Apply it. Burn it into your routine. Come back to it every time comfort whispers in your ear. Every time the old, weak self tries to crawl back into your skin. Because if you're serious about building this stronger version of yourself, brick by brick, then stick around. This is just the beginning. There's more coming, more tools, more strategy, more unfiltered truth to keep you 2 steps ahead of anyone who underestimates you. So hit that like button. Subscribe, not for me, but for you. Every reminder, every lesson, every insight we drop here is another weapon in your arsenal. And remember, you've already come this far. Don't stop now.